It's an ever-present issue for politicians in this country and south of the border. I'm Alexander Floyd for Channel 5 News, and today's feature segment is on the Mexican-American border. With almost 200,000 immigrant encounters a month, according to Customs and Border Patrol's Apprehensions Field Office, and a backlogged immigration court system, the issue has taken center stage in Washington. We go now to Viviana Law, who has an interview with an immigrant who recently crossed the border on foot.
Alex, I'm here with a Venezuelan refugee seeking asylum in the United States. Due to safety concerns, he has asked us not to reveal his identity. For this interview, we will be calling him Mr. G.
I fled from Venezuela, escaping the economic issues. With the reign of Presidente Maduro, the economy has gotten so bad to the point where our currency really has no value at all. Common living needs have become harder to find and more expensive. Me and my family needed some money, so we got help from a local gang. No surprise, we couldn't pay them back on time. They threatened me and my family, so I needed to find a way to make money. So I turned to the United States.
It's no secret that President Maduro has contributed to extreme economic instability in his country, and indeed many others like you face similar conditions, and in many instances, outright violence and other insecurities. So how did you end up leaving Venezuela?
Well, around where I live, there isn't much transport, so I was forced to leave the country on foot. I walked to the border of Colombia, and from there I found some people affording transport to people who were in situations much like mine. In order to get a ride, they ended up taking all my money. I got to the Mexican-American border around a week or so, and from there, I saw a lot of people in front of the wall waiting to get in. There were officers along the walls with a gun pointed at people, shouting at them. They had their guns in position, ready to shoot at a moment. I remember on that day, it was so hot. I was so tired and thirsty. There was people around the border giving out water to many of the immigrants there. And I remember seeing a lot of sleeping bags piled up against one another, with people scrambling just to get one in order to have a comfortable place to sleep.
We've seen people spend years at the border. Many are refused outright and sent back to the conditions they hope to escape. For you, what was it like trying to enter the U.S.?
For me, well, the process took me months in order to get in. We're having to be interviewed and having my court hearing. I remember the day of my court hearing, I was so terrified because I thought there would be little chance of me getting in. I remember that the guards, they ended up treating me terribly. They kept treating me as if I was some sort of bother. They kept pushing me around, and I wasn't allowed to see any of my family or talk to them really. At that point, I kept believing that the officers kept thinking I was some sort of animal, no better than a dog or any other mangy animal.
Even considering the conditions in Venezuela, do you miss living there? Do you still consider Venezuela home, or has the United States replaced it?
Well, honestly, I really miss my family. I know that I have to stay here in order to keep working, supporting them, but it doesn't really help with how much I miss them. Though, I really do miss the city I grew up in and the people living there. I remember that there's a lot of good people there who are in a situation much like mine, though they aren't as fortunate enough to have people willing enough to come here in order to help send them money. Though, I did grow fond of the United States, but Venezuela will always be my home. It has a very special place in my heart. And if it wasn't for people like Maduro making my country the way it is now, then I would be at home staying with my family, something I really want right now.
Mr. G, I sincerely wish you and your family the best. Thank you for taking your time to speak with us.
No, thank you, miss.
Thank you, Viviana, for those interesting insights. Now we'll go to our co-anchor, Xavier Mountford Chu, who has prepared an interview with an immigration policy expert.
On how the United States should respond to the crisis at the border, we are joined by Professor Mantra Ambita, an expert in migration studies from Rice University, Texas. Professor Ambita, it's grateful to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
So, Professor, immigration has become a contentious political debate in the country as of recently. And according to statistics from Pew Research, immigration has increased to figures only seen in the beginning of the last century. So, with that in mind, are current debates over immigration anything new?
No, not really. Over the course of US history, there's always have been a debate about immigration. Since the 19th century with the restriction of Asian immigrants coming from Asia and later on more quotas imposed that restrict immigration more and more over the years. The debate will never stop and will continue as tensions with Americans and immigrants will go on.
Interesting. To put it in another way, it seemed almost as if nothing has changed since. So, has anything really changed? Is this country and immigration policy any better than it was back then?
Things have changed. After President Trump and his administration restricted the numbers of asylum seekers being accepted by only 15 to 18,000 people a year, the Biden administration has reversed what Trump did by increasing the numbers slowly up to around 150,000 a year. So it's getting better, but the process is still difficult for immigrants to come. In regards of your second question, immigrant policies has improved since World War II. The United States has pledged to accept refugees and asylum seekers into their country. The Convention in relation to status of refugees as part of the Geneva Convention helped establish the responsibilities worldwide. And in 2012, under the Obama administration, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrival has given a pathway for children of illegal immigrants to stay in the United States and become U.S. citizens.
There are a number of various solutions from each side of the aisle, from Republicans who argue stricter immigration control to Democrats who want to be more open and forgiving to these immigrants. So, in your opinion, you've spent your career studying the movement of peoples. What is the best way the United States should handle the situation?
The United States should handle the situation by not deviating from our real responsibilities. It is sad to see the harsh reality of asylum seekers and immigrants who cross the border to the United States from across the Americas. However, like former Attorney General Jeff Sessions has stated, it is the responsibility of these countries to provide a safe and secure economy for those living in those countries. I don't believe that these responsibilities should thus be exported to the United States, and I think the current administration would agree. Vice President Harris went down to Central America last May to discuss how American businesses should invest to countries like Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras in order to make migration to the United States less agreeable. So it comes down to improving these countries not taking on their responsibilities.
Moncher and Bida, Professor of Migration Studies from Rice University, Texas, thank you for speaking with us.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you, Xavier, and thank you, Dr. Ambita. As you can see here, the border is a fluid situation and one that we will surely be following closely as it develops. Now, for all my colleagues here at Channel 5 News, I'm Alexander Foy saying, have a good day.